So you can plug it into the first or second one. I chose the first one just because it's easier and no other reason. So I plug B plus, I plug the 11 in for G. Subtract your 11. Now B equals 5. So my answer is, when you have to write a point and it's not x comma y, it always goes alphabetical. So when you look B and G, B is before G, so it's B comma G. So I write this how?
B5, G11.
Yeah, 5 comma 11. That's your point of intersection. What kind of line?
Straight.
Yep, what do they call it?
Consistent.
Perfect. Consistent independent lines. Because they meet in one point. So they met in one point. My answer is 5 comma 11. That's when those two lines are equal. And they're consistent independent lines. Good so far? Okay, your turn. Here we go. All right, solve for x on the first one. Plug it into the second. Cancels out. 8y equals 8y. Always true, consistent, infinite solutions. May go farther if you want. Here, already done for you. Plug the 3x into the y. 3x plus 4 equals 3x minus 4. Never true. Parallel lines, so they're inconsistent. No solution. Could tell with no work because the same slope, different y-intercept. Next one, already done for you. 3x plus 2 goes in for the y. Distribute, same equation, same line. Consistent, dependent, infinite solutions. Now what do you do? Okay, what'd you get?
Inconsistent with solution.
Correct. Did you have to do anything? No, no work required because they're the exact same equation. So 2x minus y equals 0 and 2x minus y equals negative 2 is never possible. If you did work, which one would you have solved? The top one. So you would have taken this one here and got y by itself by adding y. So 2x equals y. Plug that in here. You get 2x minus 2x, whoops, equals negative 2. So 0 equals negative 2. Not possible. Inconsistent, no solution. All good? Okay, the second one, what did you do? How did you do on it, by the way?
Haven't started.
Haven't started yet? No. You're going to need help. There's two equations.
So, what are they? What equations do we need?
You have to figure that out. I'm telling you, there are two from that story.
Let's look up these known and don't know charts.
You need a know and don't know chart. I'm pretty sure you won't figure it out without it. This one's a little hard. You do too. Alright, when you're doing this, what do you know? I have a total to invest of $12,000. What else do I know? Into what? What did you just say there? You said something else. Into two funds. I had two funds. What variables do you want?
X and Y.
Wait.
X and Y. So those are my two funds.
You don't know.
I don't know what they are.
Well, I know you got two of them.
I know I have two of them, but I don't know how much is in them.
You could say that for anything.
Yes.
So it should be all.
Usually your variables. What else do you know?
Take place over 1 year.
I know it's 1 year. What else? I have a 9% interest rate and 11% interest rate. What else do I know? What else do you know?
Your yearly interest is
My total on my interest is $1,180. So all of this goes together, right? Because it all deals with interest.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do those equations look like? Got any guesses?
is more.
I'm
Is there one where
is equal to 1,180 times 0.9.
0.9 times what?
1,000.
Or 1 year is 30 times.
Principal, what's your principal then?
1,180.
Nope.
It has to be
Would it be
12.
1,180 is how much interest you get.
13 180 for the principal?
What?
Would it be, 13,000.
How'd you get 13,180?
Well,
That's be a lot of money.
It's a heck of
12,000
interest
plus,
you get.
No. Your interest is just your PRT, it's not your total.
I feel like you're trying to find R, so your P has to be 12,000, and then your I has to be 13,180.
No, I is just your interest rate.
Dude, couldn't you just add them up?
Wait, I thought it was
And
8 equals
couldn't you take that
PRT.
1318
It's actually just I.
and then take them all
Listen to me.
times point
Amount of interest.
5%?
What? Say it again. I wasn't listening, Logan.
Couldn't you add them up and then take it times like 0.09?
Well, we have to find two.
But I have two interest rates.
Yeah,
One's
and then
9
take
and one's
times-
11.
Then take it times 11, 2, and then that'll give you two numbers, and then you can minus it off that 1318 to find out how much was each one.
1380.
No, because they're not both giving you 9, they're not both giving you 11. So you can't do that.
Aren't they?
Because one is giving you 9% and one's giving you 11%, not together.
True.
So you're one bank and you're one bank. I'm not paying the same interest rate at both banks.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Credit cards, okay.
Okay, you have to look at your totals, guys. Your totals tell you what they equal. So what's the first equation going to equal? Okay, so one equation's going to equal $1,180. That's what?
One equation.
From,
Why?
what's 1,180?
That's your
That's your interest.
That's
It's
the
your
bank.
interest. Well, what's giving me interest?
The bank.
Your money.
Okay, how do I know how much interest I'm
The
getting?
rate.
The rates. So your rates are 9 and 11. What are you going to do with the 9 and the 11?
Put them in there.
How?
Add them together.
And you cannot add interest rate. I am not getting 20% interest.
Put them you put one in there, then the other one needs two equations.
It's, what? So the interest from one bank and the interest from the other bank is going to equal $1,180. What are you going to do with those two
All
interests?
of the X and the Y.
Yeah.
I'm going to add those two interests. How?
Put 0.9 to X and, or 0.09 to X, 0.0, or 0.11 to Y.
What do you think? Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, dude.
He said he wanted to do, what'd you say? 0.09 with the X
Yeah.
and 0.11 with the Y?
Sure.
You want to add those. So you want to say, I take a 9% from bank X and 11% from bank Y, I'm going to add those interests up and I'm going to get $1,180. Does
Yes.
that make sense?
Yes.
No.
Yes, we want to agree?
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay, fine. What's your next one? So you've used the 1 year. You used 9%, the 11%, and 1,180. What have you not used?
12,000.
Okay, what are you going to do with your money?
Put it right in after the Y.
It's a whole separate equation.
Oh,
Nothing to
there.
do with interest.
Your X plus Y.
Whatever money I invest in X plus how much money I invest in Y has to be $12,000. That's as much money as I have.
Alright, so,
You said no.
You never said that.
I said those are your X and Y. When we were talking about interest. 0.09 and point.
But you had 1,380.
Okay, Miss
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 13,100.
All right.
It was.
Okay.
It was.
I would agree. Those are your two equations. You have to learn how to pull up your information, people. Generally, your totals tell you what your two equations are going to be and what they deal with. So 12,000 is a total invested. Well, that's how much money, X and Y. Then your interest rate is the second. That should be something you can do. Okay, how are you going to solve?
Subtract from the bottom of Y to the other side.
So you want to solve for X?
Yeah.
Okay. So X is equal to negative Y plus 12,000. Now what?
Now plug it in for X.
Plug it in for X. So 0.09 times. Did I write it right? Negative Y plus 12,000 plus 0.11% Y equals, okay, now what? Yep. Distribute through. Don't forget your negative. What is this?
1080.
Wait, what is it? 108, 180?
1080.
1080? Yes? Now what?
Let's get rid of that 1080.
No, not yet.
Gotta add the
What do you always combine line terms first?
Yeah.
So you have to put these two together. You have to have a 0.02y. Now I would agree. You gotta get rid of the 1080. Right. It's not right either. $100?
You like 5,000.
Yeah.
5,000?
Yeah.
So if 5,000 is what I'm investing in Y, what am I investing in X?
7,000.
7,000. What kind of lines?
It's CD, no.
CI.
Consistent, independent. If I made you write it as a point, it would be 7,000, 5,000. Because there's two lines that intersect at that point. Okay, how'd we do?
Beautiful.
This is where this is used all the time, so if we're trying to figure out what two things equal each other. Especially on the rate.
Oh boy.
Okay. Oh boy, what? Okay. Same thing, except now we're doing parabolas and lines. Okay, so if I'm giving you a parabola and a line, how could they intersect? So this is a plus x squared. What do you know about that parabola?
Be the positive.
It's going to facing up. So I know I have a parabola going this way, and I have a line. It could intersect in
One
Two
and
spots.
two spots. It could intersect in one spot at the vertex,
Could not intersect.
and it cannot intersect at all. So those are the three things we're looking for. Either 2 points, 1 point, or no solution. Same thing. We're doing substitution. Which one do I want to solve? Yes, we want to solve the linear one. Absolutely. So we want to use a linear to make this easy. Y is positive, so I'm going to solve for Y. So we add x to both sides. Everybody good so far? So you got y equals x plus 2. We're going to plug that into your first equation. So take out your y and plug in your x plus 2. You have to be careful with that negative sign, because that negative must get distributed, so be careful. So this goes through, giving you negative x minus 2. Good. Combine like terms. Okay, I have an x squared. How do we always solve x squared?
Oh, we factor.
We factor, but first add 2 before I can factor. Set it
Equals 0.
equal to 0. So the 1 must come over. Now, does this one factor? Factor to 3 that give you 2? Or 3 and 2, right? If it did not factor, what would you have to use?
3 and 1.
That quadratic formula, very good. So, minus 3 plus 1 gives you your negative 2. So x equals 3, or x equals negative 1. We have 2 points. You must plug them both in. So now I have y equals 5 and y equals 1. Everybody good there? Just plug it into your original equation. So those are the 2 points where this line intersects that parabola. So your answers are 3, 5, negative 1, 1. Good? We're going to have to graph these two, but right now it's just substitution. You can check your answers to make sure they both work. Okay, you have a practice.
Be very careful.
Be careful. That means watch your negative sign. Go.
Hey, Caster.
I don't think I'm gonna.
Alright, so we got, that's easy one. Actually, it's
Wait, go ahead.
I think it's a solution.
All right, do we agree with Mason so far?
Hopefully, I've only wrote
He
down one
added the
thing.
X. Okay, life's good.
Making you really far.
Thank you. Squared plus x plus 3.
Sit down, Carter.
Sorry, you guys don't get my brain on this.
Put it in the garbage.
Squared
A long time ago. Shame.
You're quiet and listening. I can't see, Mason. What'd you write up there?
Yeah, come on, man.
It's an x squared.
Yep, here we
Yeah.
go.
You're
But
right.
equals 0. Like,
Oh, I
still
have
got
that.
that.
-1. That's a -1.
You steal the partner and the friends.
That's what I got off.
Yeah. What's the square root of -3?
I squared value.
So rewrite that, -1 plus or minus.
One plus minus I squared is 3 all over 2.
Okay, so what kind of solution is that? Whoa, you are not done. What kind of solution?
I have no idea.
If it's imaginary,
CD.
does it cross?
Yes. No.
No! No solution, that's all you gotta write.
No
And then you're done.
solution. Put a solution in there, there would be no solution.
So we just don't even have to do it now. Solution.
Okay, no solution. So you know this is a positive x squared, you know it's going this way,
Alright.
and you know your line's going this way. So somehow this thing is not crossing, right? All good? Okay, next. Now we're gonna graph. We're gonna go back to linear, and then we'll go back to the quadratic. Linear, when you're doing linear, if they are not x, y, they go alphabetical. So if I have a BG, x is who's y?
Please, X, G, Y.
B is x, G is y. So when I'm graphing this, who do I solve for, B or G? No, come on, when you're
Y.
graphing,
Y.
yeah, I solve for y, so this time I'm solving for G. Because what form of a line do we want?
We want a straight.
What form of a line do we want? What's it called?
Linear.
Y equals,
And then supposed to be-
there we go.
Yeah.
You're looking for this. So you can graph your slope and your y-intercept.
Sometime.
Yes. So now, we saw the first one for G, we subtract the B. So what's my y-intercept? You're here. What's your y-intercept? 16, and you're going
Down.
down, how far? Down 1 over 1. They said your graph turned out weird, so sorry. 16, down 1 over 1, which means I'm going to end up at 16 over here. And you draw your line. Okay, now we do the same thing to the second one. This time I have to also solve for G. So I subtract the 7B.
Oh, looks like I'll do it tomorrow.
Darn, divide by 5. That will be sad. Where did you